Jacksonville Jaguars. Been kind of a roller coaster.
Yes.
Big
time.
Kind of a roller coaster.
Big time.
A lot of hopes. The Con Pool Paradise down there is home to a team that is capable of going on a run in a very stacked AFC. Could this team win a Super Bowl? Trevor Lawrence is back to form. Trevor's playing great. We signed guys. We're investing in the team. Doug Peterson's so cool with his visor.
Hair.
The weather, the fans are excited. It was once clown time. Now it's like we're legit time. Then Trevor Lawrence gets hurt. Things seem to go the opposite direction. They start to kind of fall apart. The Houston Texans become the new shiny object in the AFC South. And the Jags are now stuck in a spot of like, what the hell are we going to do? Well, somebody that's been there predating from Clown Town all the way to high expectations time down there at Con's Pool Paradise. Josh Allen signs a 5-year, $88 million guaranteed deal, $150 million in total contract. Congratulations, Josh Allen. He's been a staple down there, and obviously years back, when Josh Allen of the Bills wasn't playing against Josh Allen of the Jags, there was a full, Josh Allen, crime! They were doing that entire thing, but he's just been a quiet assassin for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Last year was a monster year for him. Now he signs a massive $80-some million guaranteed deal. Josh Allen's a stud. The Jacksonville Jaguars realize that. Keep him around, Pack. I know you're a big fan.
I love it. He's a game changer. When you see this guy on the field, he changes the game. I think he had 17 and a half sacks last year. He's a dog. Every time you turn on the film, you see 41 flying around and making plays.
$88 million, $150 total at this stage of the offseason. Good for him, D. But sucks, for the Colts. Seems like everybody around the Colts is spending big money on great players, but this is a massive keep for the Jags.
Yeah, this is great for him. Obviously, when you got a franchise, you want to figure out some key premium positions. DN is definitely one of them, probably right after the quarterback. I think some big question marks going to the next season with, Lawrence back there, quarterback. You signed, drafted Walker, number 1 overall a couple years ago.
Ridley.
On the other side, lost Ridley. But you figure out offensive tackle and those pass rushers, along with that quarterback, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, and I think the Jags have obviously been a team that shows a lot of promise. You lose Calvin Ridley. What's that mean? He was obviously very deserving of the massive contract that the Titans gave him.
What the hell?
The AFC South. That's another move that'll certainly make Colts fans go, what's going on around here? But Josh Allen stays down there. Hopefully they'll be able to go on a run. The good news for the Indianapolis Colts is we have a very mobile quarterback who's back throwing. I don't know if you guys saw this. The AFC South is cooking. Anthony Richardson's back on a football field, flicking the wrist, spinning it 85 yards. Now, what I like most about this video, after recovering from a shoulder surgery that ended his rookie campaign very early. Now, very early means like week 5. But what happened in those first 5 weeks? Electricity. This dude scored touchdowns throwing, scored touchdowns running. I think he has an NFL record for most amount of consecutive games to start your career with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. He has all the physical traits on earth. Looks sweet in a tank top. Looks sweet in a tank top. Has a great celebration with a tornado spike pretty much afterwards. All we need him to do, though, is this, D-Butt. You see what he's doing? Dropping back and throwing it. Let's just go ahead and continue to only exercise these particular muscles.
No, absolutely not. That's not what we drafted him for. You see how he's built. He's built like a creative player, and obviously you want him to continue to throw the ball and continue to evolve. But the story of his career has been so far is like, hey, dynamic in small phases. Can he do it long term? That's what we need to see.
Yes, AFC South are becoming an absolute wrecking ball. Look out, C.J. Stroud, what are they doing? They're getting better. Jacksonville Jaguars, they signed their best player on defense. Now they lose I don't know what's going on. I like that. Excited to see what they do. Tennessee Titans seemingly have a vision for the future, and then obviously the Indianapolis Colts are still sitting at the top of the mountain like they have every single offseason since the beginning of time.
They're probably like halfway up the mountain, and unfortunately that might be where their peak is. There's nothing wrong with
that. There's no plateaus on the AFC South mountain.
Facing rookie year next year.
Yeah, there's a chance. Absolutely. There's 30.
Comeback player of the year.
Great coach. Comeback player of the year. Absolutely. The Titans, you said, I think they're plus 600, maybe plus 700 to win the division. If Will Levis is good, they are going to be unbelievable because you assume they draft franchise left tackle Joe Alt because that's kind of where most people, I think Kuiper has him going there, but I think most people do have them taking either him or the kid from Penn State, Olu. But also with Ridley, D-Hop, are they the best kind of core, at least in Tennessee, on the offensive side with their wide receivers? Yeah, they bring in Tony Pollard. You assume Pete Skoronski from Northwestern, who they moved to guard last year. Maybe he kind of gets settled and comfortable in that position. Like the Titans might be that team that was the Texans last year. That there's no way they're good. They're kind of the bottom of the AFC South. The Jags, they give Josh Allen a huge deal. They bring in Eric Armstead, Gabe Davis. The Colts obviously bring in all these studs. Just kidding. They just re-signed their studs.
Studs.
Also cool.
That's all I heard.
Also cool. It's the Patriots.
But remember, whenever we're talking about the Texans and they could be the next Texans,
For
the
sure.
Texans had to go through like a decade and a half of dumpster.
True.
The Titans, I don't think they've ever done that with Vrabes.
No.
They were always like exceeding expectations every single year. Their stadium falling apart. Whole place falling apart. They're still winning games. Most amount of guys going to IR in the entire, still the number one seed in the AFC somehow. So the Texans had to go through a lot of hard times, brother. We're talking hard times.
But kind of, it was what? When did the Texans with Deshaun Watson lose 24-0 to the Chiefs in the divisional? That was like 2018. Like they really did like.
It's 2024 already.
Yeah. So it was 3 years, 5 years, like
6 years. The whole thing, 5 years going into last year.
Yeah.
It's a long time though. That is a long time for a fan base to have to go through it. If the Tennessee Titans are able to just pick right up after firing Vrabel, which nobody really understood, that new football, and they're able to just continue to roll on, good for Rand, Rand Carthon, and for the ownership that is going in a completely different direction while building a new stadium and everything.
Texans, obviously. I mean, we haven't talked to you in a while, and they've made like a billion different moves. Obviously, Joe Mixon's coming over. Stephon Diggs is coming over. They're going to be very good. But Daniil Hunter, 99 from Minnesota, he's coming down to Houston. He said, hey, I won't wear 99 because J.J. Watt is so freaking cool, even though he sucks at soccer, but he's so cool. I'm going to wear 55. What do you expect out of Daniil Hunter adding on to that D-line? And then also, do you think that there's a chance there might be a little sophomore slump from the Texans in the boys, or are they just going to build and be unbelievable this year?
I'm a massive Daniil Hunter fan. I think that he's been very underrated for a long time, in my personal opinion. I think he's just been very consistent. He plays extremely well in both the pass and the run. So to see him in addition to Will Anderson and D'Amico Ryan's defense, I can't wait to watch that happen. And obviously, I think it's very classy and cool of him, what he did and what he said upon coming down to Houston. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. The additions that they made and the things that they've done these last two off seasons are very, very impressive.
Yeah, I hate it.
Think about I bet you do. I bet you do. Think about where this franchise was 2 years ago. And then you think about where they are today and some of the conversations that are happening and some of the expectations that are being put upon this team. I do think that you could say it's a situation where the excitement level and the expectation level has built so high, so fast that it almost is starting to become unrealistic. But when you have a coach like D'Amico Ryans, when you have a quarterback like C.J. Stroud, and the mentality that those two have and the way that they handle themselves and the way they conduct their business, I think that they are uniquely positioned to handle this situation and continue to excel.
Do you think the rest of the AFC South is cooking as well? I don't necessarily love that. Let's go down to Jacksonville. Derek's got a question for you.
Yeah, Josh Allen coming off his best season in his young career, 17.5 sacks, just signed a massive deal, obviously paired up with Walker, who they drafted 1 overall a couple years ago. Do you think they're kind of hitting their stride and they should be better as a 1-2 punch as that pass rusher? Where do you think they kind of rank in the league?
I think they're very good. I think he obviously is very deserving of that contract. He's played extremely well. He's another guy who, almost flies under the radar a little bit with how good he is and what level he plays at. Yep. If you look at the AFC South as a whole, it is a very, very good division. I always think the AFC North is probably the best division in football. At minimum, it's the most competitive with top to bottom. But I think a division this year that's going to be a lot of fun to watch is the AFC South. Obviously, Anthony Richardson coming back, the Colts. I think Steichen is a great coach. I think he's done really good things up there in Indy. Obviously, Jacksonville's still, Jacksonville's kind of in that window where, a couple of years ago or the last couple of years, you thought they were going to really make that push and hasn't quite come to fruition, but they still have the ability, especially with Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, the Texans, we know what they are. And then the Titans, we're going to see what happens with Will Levis, new coaching staff. So I love watching the AFC South, obviously, for myself, but I think it's going to be truly one of the better divisions to watch this whole year.
I liked what you said there about the Texans. Like, the expectations are just getting to a point where, is this even realistic in a guy's second year? You know, this is CJ Stroud, but he's putting on himself. You know, you add Stephon Diggs there. Everybody's expecting Stephon Diggs to have like MVP year next year. And we're pulling for you. CJ, don't put that pressure on yourself.
But you also have to think like crazy, like Stephon Diggs, unbelievable player. But Nico Collins is also still there. Tank Dell, like they have Dalton Schultz. Like it is. I mean, if you truly look at that squad, and then you also so then you say, okay, if they have all those skilled players, then they must not have that great of an offensive line because of the money issues. Well, they have Laramie Tunsil, they have Titus Howard. Like they are built well, and I think you do have to give credit to Nick Caserio. I think you have to give credit to D'Amico and the vision he's building. But I mean, really, I'm trying to temper it myself because of how excited I am. But it's really hard to look at that team and not be super excited.
You guys were supposed to suck.
And then Nico Autry, like some of the people that they've added, like that you go down the list and some of the people that they've added. I mean, it's a really, really solid squad.
Great city, great people,
the food,
great fans, the food.
You have the best chefs in the entire city
working for the
them.
Texans. But they're supposed to suck at football.
Yeah, they should.
They're supposed nice linebacker too, Asher. He's pretty good.
Yeah. That's what Cesario's doing. It's what Caserio.
Yeah.